Buongiorno. That was Italian. And I did it because we're actually in an Italian restaurant today. We're here in the East Village today to visit the institution known as John's on 12th Street. On 12th Street, go figure, between 2nd Avenue and 1st Avenue. This has been here since 1908, since the neighborhood was you know, I would say crawling, but that sounds kind of negative. It was filled with Italians, tons and tons of Italians. Really amazing extension of Little Italy back in the day. But awesome place, one of my favorite restaurants in the city. I always send people here when they ask for Italian restaurants. And we're gonna go inside and we're gonna learn the history. We're gonna talk about everything. We're gonna meet some people too. Meet some of the owners, all that stuff's gonna be great. You know, a lot of celebrities too have come pass through here. You know, people like Jackie O, and also Tom Cruise. Eric, you know, they just recently made a new Top Gun, only 40 years later, or whatever. You know, 35 years later. I'm sure that's gonna be really good. Anyways, we're gonna go inside and we're gonna meet a lot of people. It's gonna be great. How are you doing, Eric?
I'm doing pretty good. I see there's a sign here for vegan camera humans.
That's right, there's vegan food here. They have vegan and gluten-free, so that's right up your alley. We're gonna go inside and we're gonna talk about all that as well. Before we start, guys, check out the Patreon. For the love of God, help out if you can. If you watch more than one of these, a little support. There's all kinds of levels and all kinds of little extras. All mostly PG, you know. Okay. Also, too, give it a little thumbs up. Give the video a little thumbs up. Why not? Helps bump it in the analytics. Also, too, you know, subscribe. That helps a lot. And yeah, I don't know, Eric. What do you think, man? I think we should just go inside and get this thing started. So much to learn about this place, man. I'm pumped. I love this place. I've been here so many times. What do you think? Should we go in there?
I think one of us should go in before the other.
I think that's going to be me. I think we're going to do a nice little transition. Put on the title card. It's going to be very awkward and just the way I like it. What do you think? Should we start it?
Great.
All right. Cue title. So I'm here with the general manager of John's. This is Leo. How you doing, Leo?
Good. How are you?
You're very young.
I am.
You've been here.
I am.
You're a prodigy.
Yes, I've been working here for about 5.5 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you met your fiance here.
I did. I met her on that booth.
How did that
right
happen?
there.
You just
well,
shared
you
chicken
know,
parm
I
or
was
something?
working. She came in with a friend.
Wow. Okay.
And then, you know, I just ended up going to have a drink, and then now we're living together and we're engaged. Anything can happen at John's.
Anything can happen at John's. I mean, that's not a guarantee, by the way. If you come here, you're not gonna find a wife. So where are you from originally?
I'm from Kosovo.
You see that? That's an American dream within an
really
American
is.
dream. Isn't that pretty incredible? I didn't
It
even
really
set that
is.
up. I didn't make this up. So you've been here for a while. You were here when like Bourdain shot something here, right?
Yes, I was here. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It was a very nice guy.
Would you wait real quick? Would you say that our show now is better than Bourdain's?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, just making
Yeah,
sure. That's really what I
100%.
wanted to hear.
Oh,
That's cool.
really?
Okay, great. So we can move on from
Yeah,
that.
of course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great,
yeah,
great. So
100%.
So real quick, you also you were here. I guess you know about the Sopranos.
Yes, of course. Yeah. It was the scene where Tony breaks.
He kicks the guy's
teeth right there on that bar,
little
right
curve,
there. Yeah.
You could still see the teeth marks.
Yes,
there.
it's right there. We use it for.
Yeah.
We still have it.
You have a few of the
have
teeth hanging up above the bar.
Yeah, we have.
That's very
We still have
disgusting.
them. Yeah.
Nice. All right. That's cool. So what's your favorite part of working here?
The ownership is really nice. You have the staff.
And
The
that has
staff
nothing
is
to do with the
amazing.
fact that they're sitting
Nothing.
right over there.
No, nothing.
at
They're
all.
on my left right now, but it has
If
nothing
they
to do
weren't
with
here,
that.
he'd still be saying the same
Yes,
thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I always say that. I always say that.
He says
every
it to
day.
everyone who will listen.
I
in the
wake up
street.
every day and say that.
All right, so John's is a traditional Italian restaurant, but it has a full vegan menu as well. And Italians aren't necessarily traditionally vegan a lot of times, and sometimes people take issue with this. And I heard there's a story involving the ornamental chickens you guys have around the restaurant.
Yes,
What's
that's
the
a very funny story, actually.
Yeah, let's hear it. Take it away, Leo.
This guy actually stole 2 of these ornamental chickens, and then he sent us a picture with that, holding both of them, and then saying that...
Wearing a mask, right?
Yes, wearing a mask, and then saying, if you want to see these cocks again, you will stop serving vegan food.
If you want to see these cocks again, you will stop serving vegan food.
And we never saw the cocks again.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we all had a nickel for every time we've gotten a message like that, you know, we'd all be very rich people.
We're very affectionate about our chickens, you know.
You're very affectionate with your chickens.
Yeah.
Maybe we should cut there, huh? That's what do you do outside of the work here?
Honestly, I would say I'm a gym freak.
A gym freak.
I
A
go
fellow
to the gym.
freak,
I
huh?
go to the gym.
How much do
As
you
you can
bench?
see,
How much do you bench?
Depends.
Trying to get some
Yeah, I
gain,
could
working
see
on
that.
gains right now, actually.
We should hit the gym together one day.
Yeah, I'm benching like 250.
250?
Yeah,
That's
like,
awesome.
Like 10 times.
That's pretty cool.
Cool.
I love that.
All right, well, Leo, thanks so much for meeting
Of
with
course,
us. I guess
pleasure.
we're going to keep on moving to the next spot.
Thank you. Good to have you. Thank you.
So a little bit of background before we dive into this place. It opened in 1908. John Pucciati, who migrated from Umbria in Italy, came here and started this in 1908, back when there was lots of Italian spots in this area of the East Village. You know, Little Italy was obviously located further down, closer to Canal, but it actually stretched out to this area. There's still some left. Venero's is right around the corner. Russo's is still around. Di Roberta's just closed down a little bit ago. But this whole area kind of still housed a lot of Italians, and this was one of those places. So this place was open. It's only had 3 different owners. In fact, during Prohibition, they sold moonshine on the second story here. Mama John actually sold moonshine from the second story, and they sold wine and whiskey out of espresso cups so people wouldn't get caught. Yeah, you're still in the subway sometimes and you see people doing that same trick, even though it's not illegal, but you know, you got to do what you got to do. It still has the original tiling on the ground. There's still paintings up on the wall from 1908. This place has been around for a little while. So the original Italian wave of immigrants came here to New York to find work. There was lots of, I guess, labor problems and finding work problems in Italy around the time of the Risorgimento, which is what they called it. Risorgimento. That's pretty good, right, Eric?
Sure.
Yeah. Anyways, they were coming to look for work, and at one point there was over 400,000 Italians in New York City. That's a lot. That's like the size of the city of Tampa. You know, just, I don't know why I picked Tampa. It's kind of, yeah, sorry. But you can watch, I did a video on Tampa, so maybe that's why I picked it.
Contrived plug.
Yeah, very contrived. But yeah, they came and they settled here, and they all kind of gravitated towards the same area because they needed the language, and they needed help finding jobs and finding places to live. It's just a natural thing. That's how Little Italy forms. Today, there's no longer a real Little Italy, but there is other neighborhoods of Mexicans and Chinese and everything, and the Italians have basically assimilated, and they've become part of New York. You know, it's kind of interesting. American dream, right? Right, Eric?
American dream.
It's very beautiful. I'm going to start crying. Anyways, this place during Prohibition, I was saying, you know, sold different alcohol from the establishment, but they also had a candle here, which is kind of cool. They had a candle that was lit, and they would use it as kind of a signal to let people know if there was cops coming, if it was safe to come by, et cetera, et cetera. And the candle is still back there. They still have this candle that's from, you know, the 1920s. Pretty cool. Insert B-roll here. Very professional. And the building actually sits on land that used to be a cemetery. In fact, all this land used to be owned by Peter Stuyvesant, who was the Director General of the Dutch West India Company before the British took it over in 1664. Everybody knows that, obviously. But once the British took it over, he kind of retired to his land here. And a little later, his descendants sold this land. It used to be, it was actually a cemetery for slaves and the family of slaves that the Stuyvesants had started. And they moved the bodies, they sold it in the 1860s, and they built a bunch of tenements, and this was one of them. The rest have kind of gone away, but it's basically built on an old cemetery, although the bodies aren't underground anymore. I don't know why I'm telling you this. This is kind of dark and not related to Italian food, but still pretty cool.
Haunted bar tour.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know if there's like a skeleton in the mirror behind me or something like that. Maybe it can make some like effect or something. But look, I've rambled enough. Let's talk to someone here and learn more about the bar, some of the cool history, etc., from someone who actually knows a thing or two about it. And I can stop rambling and pretending I'm a bartender. All right, so I'm here with Rob, who's having a little cappuccino here. He's one of the partners and owners of John's of 12th Street. How's it going?
It's going great. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me.
It is our pleasure, so thank you for being here.
Stop it.
We are fawning.
Stop. So tell me how you got started with John's.
My wife and I actually had our first date here back in 1993. Still married, 1993, February. We were in our booth too. I might have gotten lucky that night.
All right. Take it. Let's get PG here.
Yes. The rest is history, and as the years went by, we were coming here, and when I heard that Nick was selling and Paul was going to be involved with my love of New York and this place and history, I asked if I can come aboard, and the honor of being a part of this was just wonderful, and we've always been grateful for that opportunity.
So Rob, what did you do before you got into the restaurant business?
So I got my first job in production, and that led me to meeting Kevin Clash, who at that time was not yet Elmo. and he needed a roommate. And I was looking to move into the city from Brooklyn. I'm a Brooklyn boy, Bensonhurst, real Brooklyn. I moved in, my first apartment in the city, and
So you lived with Elmo?
I lived with him. Well, he brought Elmo home, and they didn't have a character yet. But at Sesame Street, they passed the puppet around and see who can come up with the personality. And it was Kevin's turn. And he was in his bedroom, and I heard him doing the voice, and all of a sudden, the voice happened.
Right.
He became Elmo.
Well, I will say that's actually, weirder things have happened with roommates in New York,
Weirder things.
I think, than hearing an random Elmo through the
good.
door. So tell me about the candle in the back, the candelabra.
Back during Prohibition, and even before we put the back room in, the candles used to be in our front window. And when they were lit, it told you can come in and go up to the speakeasy, which we are sitting underneath.
Cool. And to be clear, there's tons of speakeasies in New York now, but they're just places where the drinks are overpriced and you have to go in through like a shelf or something. This is back when it was actually illegal to drink alcohol in the 1920s, okay, just to be clear. Sorry.
Yes, so Prohibition ended. And every night since then, and John's is open 363 days a year, those candles are lit. So people are fascinated by that. Oh, can we go look? Can we touch? Everything underneath is from the 1920s. We keep adding candles. Every few months we shave them down.
Sure.
And they have now taken on a life of their own.
Pretty cool. So also too, I want to be clear, Giuseppe Mazzaria used to hang out here, right? And in Boardwalk Empire, the TV show Boardwalk Empire, no big deal. They use the restaurant as his hangout with Lucky Luciano because he actually used to hang out here, right?
Luciano lived around the corner. Mazzaria lived around the corner. So Mazzaria lived around the corner. He would hang out here, which helped John in two ways. One, they sold the booze.
Right.
He supplied. And two, it protected merchants like John from extortionist groups like the Black Hand and others. Of course, Tammany Hall and the police were Irish.
Right.
The Italians came after, so they were looked down upon. So this offered some protection.
Right. And also, this is an interesting story. August 11th, 1922,
Right.
here was where Luciano, they say Genovese as well, gunned down
Umberto Valenti.
Yeah, and what happened was Valenti came as under the guise of a peace offering
Right.
here with Mazzaria, and on his way out with some of his cohorts, Luciano and Genovese surprised him and started shooting, and
Right.
he stumbled out to the corner here at 2nd and 12th and died on the street.
Right.
So why should someone eat here rather than, let's say, Olive Garden?
You eat here because this is a singular experience. First, our food is great.
Of course.
No comparison between
Yes.
our authentic chef's food than the Olive Garden.
Sure.
Two, this is not an experience you get anywhere else. You come here, it is unlike any other place you've been in. It is authentic. It is New York. You want to come to New York and get what that experience is, this is where you want to be. And we are a small business. We are privately owned. That's what you want. That gives a neighborhood flavor. That gives a city its vibrancy.
Yeah, that's a community. There's a community here. There's regulars who come here. The owners hang out here. Like it becomes a literal part of the community around it, rather than a franchise where all the money goes to corporate office and it's transient and no one stays there for longer than 6 months and the whole thing. Sorry, I just went on a tangent there. That was a little bit much. So, what do you think has changed the most about New York since you've been here?
I think it's gotten. Some people say it's still violent. I think it's lost a little bit of its gritty character. Mm-hmm. It's mix of people who can come into the city and start their lives because it's so expensive to live here.
Right.
I didn't need to go back to the 70s where everything was scrawled with
Right.
graffiti, but I like some of that grittiness.
Chaos. There's a little bit of chaos and
that New York
unpredictability.
bit.
Yeah. So I'm a certified New York City tour guide, Rob, not to brag, Is there anything you want to ask me?
Yes, I'd like to ask how on earth you got involved in this business and what are you doing here?
Well, I came here because I love this restaurant. I've come here a ton with my family. Whenever family and friends come in town, I tell them that if they ask for an Italian restaurant, this is where I send them. And so basically what I'm saying is I've made everything up. I don't have a YouTube channel. I'm not a tour guide, and I did all this just to come here and eat.
And on that level, where they're saying, because I have made everything up, everything
This
out of
is
my
all-
mouth has been a lie up until
He's
this
not
point.
even the owner of this place.
Nothing is truthful.
Yeah, nothing's truthful. Everything's a lie.
Everything is a lie.
The world
Fake
is
news.
a simulation. So whatever. Well, thank you so much for hanging out here.
I
guess
appreciate
I'm gonna keep
it.
on moving and check out more of the restaurant.
All right, so before leaving, I obviously had to eat some of the food.
And for all you foodie freaks out there, here it is, baby. They got a nice traditional Italian menu as well as a vegan menu, which is pretty cool for some people. And I always get the chicken parm because it's so good. And with that, it was time to leave. Well, that's the end of our day here at John's of 12th Street. We got to see an institution here in the East Village. This is the place you got to eat when you come to New York. Don't go to freaking Olive Garden, waste your time in all those places. You got to come to places like this. It's a community, baby. All the history we talk about, the mob history, the Prohibition history, the Sopranos, the Boardwalk Empire, Lucky Luciano, it goes on and on. You got to come to this place when you come to New York. It's an amazing spot. You know, and got to have some food. That's pretty cool. You know, hopefully that's comped. You know. All right. Anyways, I want to thank my esteemed hosts. Thank you guys so much for having me. Really appreciate it. It was a really cool day. As a token of appreciation, only to show you guys that I care, I'm gonna leave one of my headshots. You know, I saw you have a wall of fame here. Figure I'll just put this up for you. Put it over there, over Gandolfini. That guy's pretty famous already. Doesn't really need more attention, so I'll just put that there. And thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'll be in touch.
Yes.
You know, be in touch. That's what they say in the biz. All right. See y'all later. Thanks.